Let's go to Nick and Clayton real quick. Nick and Clayton wants to get on here on the Russ, and I think he wants to talk some baseball. Nick, good morning, man. How you doing?
Morning, fellas. Great hearing you guys. You guys sound great.
Thank you, brother.
Dad's doing good.
Yeah, he is. He's in the chat right now, the YouTube chat, and he's doing a lot better. Thank you to everybody that's reached out. I sincerely appreciate that.
That sounds good, man. Hey, you know that you guys are talking about wanting to get Farhan. Well, I've got an available GM ready for you guys to replace him. What about Kim Ng?
So I'll tell you what happened there. So Derek Jeter, I was listening to the David Sampson podcast, who very well versed in the Florida Marlins, the Miami Marlins.
That's scam outers. Of course he's well versed in the Marlins. He ruined the Marlins.
Okay. He sold the team to the group that was headed by Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter was the baseball of president ops, whatever the title was, right? And hired Kim to be the GM, okay?
Right.
Now, the president of baseball ops runs things, and the GM is a GM in title. It's all of these, like, let's bump everyone up. It would be the same thing as Farhan, I believe, now is the president of baseball ops.
Right, but he runs everything.
Yes, and he has a GM, Pete Petula. I always pronounce it improperly. When Jeter left and got bought out, okay, now Kim was running things, if you will. But everything was already set in place. So she had this last year where she was running things. They were going to hire someone to be above her to replace Derek Jeter. And I don't know. It depends on how you want to perceive it. Either she had philosophical differences or they just didn't want her to run the organization. It's probably a little bit of both. They were going to hire somebody else to come in. I don't know what her qualifications are. I don't know how good she is. I don't know if she's great, terrible, good, bad, whatever. But they obviously have moved on, both parties. And it's because they're trying to hire someone above her.
So Kim Ng, I just want somebody here who's relatable. I want somebody here who is personable. I want somebody here who's going to make moves and embrace this community.
And understands the ecosystem in this area.
Understand all that. Politics, logistics, everything.
Yeah, I agree.
And actually be able to recruit some players. You know, Farhan, and Sam Lubman asked him the question during his end-of-season presser. You know, Aaron Judge, man, you said that, you know, you didn't really think that you could Aaron Judge. And he brushed off the question, said, oh, man, that's so long ago. Like, we've kind of turned the page, and I don't want to speak for Aaron, and blah, 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 blah. But it's just like, you're coming out saying that you never really thought you had a shot at him. Tell that to Greg Johnson. Tell that to the fans who got excited about it. Tell that to your team who tried to recruit him. Why are you recruiting Aaron Judge if you don't believe you could go sign that player? And that's my problem with Farhan. Like John Lynch and Bob Myers and now Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob, they go after a player, they believe they could get that player. They believe they could sell their brand, sell their organization, and make it appealing to a player saying, look, you come here, we're going to take care of you. The fans will love you. It's a great area to play in. Chase Center's booming. They just built a park across the street that we'll get to a little bit later around Chase Center. They're making things like, hey, we got it happening around Chase Center. You know, like instead with the Giants, you got Momo's and you had a bunch of things that closed down, unfortunately. Farhan doesn't do it. So if you don't believe in this stuff, why are you on the job? And you know, I got a lot of love for beat writers. You know that, Shaska. I got a lot of love for media members. But the fact that Farhan wasn't pressed on some of the things that he said in the past and that we had to walk down there is embarrassing. So he's been able to be comfortable, do what he do, which is give limited players big-time deals and player options. Again, it's just not too late to fire him. The offseason hasn't started yet. We're still in the LCS. It's not too late.
The problem is I just don't think the Giants have the networking to understand who's good and who's not. It's really hard. Like these front offices, like I agree with you. I don't think I would stay with Farhan, but everyone always goes, well, who are you going to find? Well, that's their job. Like that's literally whoever ownership's, you know, whoever's in control of this thing. Right. That's the other part. You know, we don't even know who the hell's in
control.
But like that's their job is to hire these things and get it right. Like, you know, people get mad, like, well, why are you mad at Shanahan? His job is to not miss on Trey Lance. Now, he was very lucky, and he ended up making the most out of the Brock Purdy situation, and he gets credit for that. but their job is to execute draft picks. Their job is to know these things. The job of the Giants ownership is to hire qualified people.
Right.
And right now, the person running things, I don't believe is qualified to do the job.
I don't either.
And I don't know who's out there because that's not my expertise.
Yeah.
No one really knows any of these front office people. But I know this. I know when it's not working, and it's not working right now.
I'm waiting for Buster Posey to just say, you know what, let me run the show.
But here's the problem with that is that when you are a star player of an organization and you run the show, at some point you will be fired.
Yeah,
John Elway was going to get let go at some point from Denver. I know your buddy Chris Mullen ran the Warriors for a minute.
And they basically took the power away from him, and that whole situation became ugly with Robert Rowell and Chris Cullen. They just didn't know. They wanted to do everything.
I just think that's really tough. I think it's tough for an icon of a franchise like Mully, like Buster Posey. I think you're put up. But some guys want that challenge.
Some guys want it. George Brett ran the Royals for a long time. Remember? Got him that World Series and brought him back to relevance. Yeah, Nolan Ryan, Rangers and the Astros. You know, there's guys who get into it. Now, I'm just asking Buster Posey, but you just need somebody else.
With credibility.
Like, you just need, again, you get a feeling with some guys. You get around some people, you feel good. Like saying Bob Myers a couple weeks ago at the Niner game, it's like I feel good around him. Yeah. Mike Dunleavy, I like talking to Dunleavy. He's a good dude.
But it seems like to me, Mike Dunleavy clearly has been with the organization and has been a right-hand guy to someone who is excellent. And so to me, he's got the prerequisite qualifiers to – I'm not saying he'll be successful.
And he understands.
But doesn't it feel like he has the tutelage?
He understands. He understands the market, too. He understands what Dub Nation's all about.
Yeah, he's been here.
I don't think Farhan understands Giants fans. Does he even understand what Giant fans want?
Well,
does he understand what this market wants?
That's one of the things why I love about Kyle Shanahan. He kind of knew what it was to be a Niner fan. Even though he wasn't a Niner fan his whole life.
He was around here.
Yeah, he understood it. And I think that was a very endearing quality for a lot of people when he first got hired. That's a really good point.
No doubt.
That's a good point.
By the way,